Okay, so this is exponential functions. This side of your worksheet, you see you have four exponential graphs at the top, and then the bottom you have 10 statements that you have to decide if they're true or false. So we'll look at the first one just to show you how this works. The graphs of f and h had the same y-intercept. So if you look here, f has a y-intercept. These numbers are kind of hard to read, but this is 200. And it said f and h. So h, right here, this is also y-intercept of 200. So they do have the same y-intercept, so we circle true. And now it says if you think the statement is true, go to this statement next. So the next one you're going to do is number 3. So you go to number 3, read it, see if it's true or false, circle that number, go to that question next. Okay? And that's all you do for this sheet. It asks you about the y-intercept, domain, range, exponential growth and decay, and the asymptote. Okay, so everything that you've looked at, just reviewing all that. Okay. Now, your second worksheet, the other side, you are given exponential functions, and you have to complete the table, graph it, and then identify these 5 different attributes. So we'll look real quick at this first one. F of x equals 2 to the x power. Well, when you plug these numbers in for x, your answer fills out the table. So we'll do it for a couple of these. 2, and if x is negative 2, that's 2 to the negative 2 power, which is 1 over 2 squared. Because it's a negative exponent, we flip it, and that equals 1/4. So for y, beside negative 2, 1/4. 2 to the negative 1 power for our next x value, that's 1 over 2 to the positive 1 exponent, or 1/2, so there's 1/2. 2 to the 0 power, remember anything to the 0 exponent is 1, so next to 0 we put a 1. Now 2 to the first power is 2, 2 to the second power is 4, and there's our 5 points. So we graph these here. 0, I always start with the 0, so 0, 1. So 0, 1, then 1, 2, 2, 4, and then go back to where x is negative. So negative 1, 1/4. I'm sorry, negative 1, 1/2. Negative 2, 1/4. And then you just graph that shape. And it gives you the shape of an exponential function. Then you fill out all these 5 attributes. This graph is exponential growth. The y-intercept is 1. All of these, your y-intercept will always be 1 because x is 0, and anything to the exponent of 0 is equal to 1. So y-intercept is the point 0, 1. Our domain, this graph goes to the left forever. So the furthest point to the left is negative infinity. Less than x, less than, now it doesn't look like it goes right that much, but it always goes up and right, keeps on going forever because of your arrow. So that goes to positive infinity. So you can write it like this: negative infinity, less than x, less than infinity, or you can put all real numbers. same thing. Then you have your range. Now your range, it goes up forever. But then you look here, when it starts coming down, it levels off when it gets close to 0. And if you notice here, the further negative your x gets, the smaller your y gets. But look, it's 1/2, then 1/4, then it's going to be 1/8, 1/16, 1/32. So it will never actually get to 0. It just keeps dividing by 2. So our graph keeps getting closer and closer and closer to 0, but never actually touches 0. So your range, y, is greater than 0, but not equal to. You can't put the equal sign there because it never actually equals 0. Then your horizontal asymptote. Remember, an asymptote, it's a line that the graph approaches but never touches. Well, that's where y equals 0. So it's y equals 0. And that's what your horizontal asymptote will always be. And that's it. So you have 3 more to do just like that. You have the rest of this first sheet I showed you to complete. And make sure you go in the right order. When you get, like this was the first one, we circled it, so we started with number 1. So write down number 1. Then we circled true, so we're going number 3. Write down number 3 next. Write down the order that you work them out in, and that way we'll know if you worked them out in the right order, if you got them correct. Plus, if you do one in the wrong order, if you answer one incorrectly, you'll come back to a problem you've already done, and you won't have all 10 of these answered. And that's it.